Hey there, I'm Samurai Man and I will be teaching you Kirby and the Forgotten Land any percent speedrun. In this series, I will go through each world individually in every video, so you will have an easier time to follow through and learn the speedrun for this game. There are a couple of questions many of you will probably ask me in the YouTube comments, so we'll answer them right now. Spring Breeze is faster than Wild Mode because on Wild Mode you get 50 coins at the end of the level every time. And that loses about 2 seconds. So you can do the math, it's about a minute time loss on playing on Wild Mode. Though for this tutorial I'll play on Wild Mode because I've run on that, and to be honest I don't care about Spring Breeze. Yeah, I know I don't like the free time save I guess, but I just like Wild Mode more. A couple of other things Spring Breeze has. Kirby has more HP. There are apparently less enemies in a level 2. I don't know are there other changes as well. If there are, let me know. You may wonder how many Waddles Dees you need to beat the game. The overall amount is 137, but for every world you need to collect that specific amount of Waddles Dees. Meaning that any extra Waddles Dee you get in each world is not gonna count towards to the next world. For example, in World 1 you need 17, World 2 you need 19, and anything you get in a World 1 is not gonna transfer to World 2. How about let's get started, and I will explain while we are going through this game. I will be teaching you to run on Wild Mode like I explained. So let's get started. Before we run through, I will explain you a couple of things, like how I changed settings actually. So in the menu, you see there's two types of control type A, type B. I always go like this with my settings. Why do I take off auto swallow? The reason is that I want to have control when I want to swallow and take the ability. Then type B is it just feels better for the controller personally. So you want to learn how to use sliding. Every shoulder button crouches Kirby, or he is blocking, so you can do dodging. But the main reason you want to do that is to press jump after that, so he slides. And the method I'm using is I'm trying to press them at the same time. Slightly I wanna press the shoulder button, otherwise you will jump, and jumping is slightly slower. When you're jumping around, try to avoid flying too. It slows you down quite much, probably like a half a speed, but still it slows you down. And when you are doing sliding next to the enemy, it will homing attack that, so keep that in your mind too. Any shoulder button works for sliding, but I'm used to using a set R, which is the right side of controller's shoulder button. It's a preference then. So for the start of the run, you will go through the level all the way up to the ladder, then you will get the first ability. And when you get the ability, there are actually 2 ways to get rid of your ability. I will show you. So you normally would want to probably press the button. In this case I want to press A. But did you know that there's actually a better way to get rid of that ability right away is pressing this minus button. A minus button is for showing a collection in a Waddles Dee down, but when you're in a level, pressing the minus button gets rid of the ability right away. So that's good to keep in mind if you want to get rid of that ability right away. No need to hold the button and get rid of it that way. Every time there's a cutscene, you can just spam the start button, which is the plus button in this game. Now for the first mouthful, which is the car, you can just hold the Y button or whatever you have it on to dash, and just keep going through this way. The speedrun of this game is quite straightforward. There are not any glitches discovered yet for this game that are helpful in speedruns, as far as I know. And by the way, this route might be obsolete in a couple days, even a week. I don't know, but I'll be teaching you this route still. And you can learn from that. It's a good way to learn the game at least. And if you want to learn something more or faster, you can always join the Kirby Speedrunning Discord. I'm sure they'll happy to help you. The reason we want the bomb is for these enemies. These are really easy to fight. And I will show you how I will do it fast. They're consistently spawning in every spot. One spawns at the bottom, two spawns to the side, and then it's like a triangle position. But that's how you do the first level. There are not too many cutscenes. There are not too many cutscenes that you can skip right away, or text boxes. That's one of the view ones you can skip right away. And when you go to Overworld and you unlock a new world, you can always skip the cutscene for that. This also counts as opening a world, so you can just press the start and you immediately get rid of the cutscene there, or skip it rather. In an open world, you may wonder, can you move faster? And yes, you can. With any shoulder button, you will move fast if you want to. But it might be too easy to mess up and go over the level you want to go to. For each level, I said that each world requires a certain amount of Waddles Dees. And there is a good route for collecting all of the required Waddles Dees. There are backups as well, and I will explain them in every video. So let's go through the down Crashland. Basically world 1-1 like I always say. You wanna go through the level with sliding, that's just it. You'll be using you wanna use slide as much as you can. It's fastest method to move right now until you get the ability that moves faster, which is fire in this case. And it also happens to be the best damage source for us in a run right now. Because going out of the way and getting any blueprints costs time. You also have to get rare stones and you need money, but biggest one is that you have to find the blueprint, you have to go back to Waddles Dee town and give it to the Waddles Dee in a shop, and you need rare stones. All that adds up just for having a slightly better ability that deals more damage. Therefore, the only ability we are going to upgrade is the free one the Waddles Dee gives us. It's either the cutter or fire, and we want to upgrade fire because it's better. For this mini boss, I would like to start hitting the one in the right side, the enemy, with a bomb. Throw it to it while moving. And when the actual boss shows up, I will explain after I've done it, okay? That missed, I think. Yeah, it is. It's not a big deal, but now the enemy spawns, the boss. When it's about to attack, I get rid of my ability, I don't need it anymore. I throw one starter like that, I take my ability off, back with me, and that's how I go back to it. If you follow it like that, you'll deal the most damage to it and you will kill the wild edge. This Waddles Dee cannot be skipped, so you'll always get 4 Waddles Dees in this level. You don't need the ability right now, because in the next level we'll get fire, and that will be our main movement to go through the levels. There have been people trying to route in mixing and using a tornado as well, but it can be a little hard for me to try to explain all these different routes, so I'll just only go through the route that I know. Here comes the first skip of the run actually. It's not a glitch, but it's a skip. I can show you how it's done. But if you fail it, it's all good. You wanna get up here, and on apex of that jump, you wanna use your ability, mouthful ability, to get up here. It happened really fast, and it's gonna be really hard for me to redo that, so you will wanna probably rewatch that part a few times. Though if you fail it, then you just go up here normally, the normal way. But if you get here, then that's great. We'll be able to continue the run faster. There is another method where you use the head from that... what is that enemy called even? I don't know. A turtle, maybe? It's another way to get up there too. I haven't learned that way, I've only done that I just did. So you see now, when we're on wild mode, we just got 50 coins, and that loses about 2 seconds, like I explained. And that adds up quite fast when you have multiple levels. In the next level, there is a one extra Waddle Dee we get. Now we're about to get some cutscenes here and there, or things, I don't know. Anyway, let's continue. Now we get fire ability, and that will be our main movement method to move around the game. Keep in mind to still use sliding as much as you can, if you can. It can be hard to remember it. For fire, you wanna do a full jump and spam the attack button, so you will move around like this fast. You can also add the sliding. The more you use this mid-air, the more height you'll lose, so you'll hit the ground faster. You can make really well, you can go over really well all these kind of gaps with 2 jumps, 2 times with that charge. Oops, that's a mistake. Also keep in mind where Kirby is, so you don't wanna miss that. In this room, you don't want to take those lanterns actually. It's not worth it. These platforms are in a cycle. Just have to wait, move a little bit like this. And if you don't make the cycle, that's all good. These are a little tricky. Oh yeah, this is important. Some of the enemies in the game, Gordos especially, they will take off your ability right away. One hit and they'll take off the ability. Some enemies don't take it away right away. Some enemies just... it's random, I would say. Taking any hit can be... it doesn't matter, but if the enemy takes off your ability, that can be really bad. You don't want to skip this mouthful, we don't need it. Go around like this. There is a health here if you are low on health possibly, you take this one. I believe there is a way to skip this part of them using mouthful, but if you don't want to, you can take the mouthful over here and hit this sign, a poster rather, and that's a free bottle for you. Then you want to skip the rest of the mouthful by doing this with the fire I just did. You can do the same thing here too. Saving a good amount of time. And that's pretty much the second level of this world. It's very straightforward. Very easy bottles to get while going through the level. Any Waddle Dee that's in a cage, lying around in a level, those are generally slow to get instead of those that you have a requirement to hit, like hitting a poster, go to this back alley, find 2 secret passage, any of that kind of stuff are far better to get over a Waddle that's in a cage. Because Waddle in a cage gives you a cutscene. Generally. But some of the worlds has this that there's just not any good Waddle Dees to collect from those requirements, so you have to get those ones in a cage. But moving on to the third level, there is a backup Waddle Dee if you want to get it, but you don't have to. It all depends if you forget to do this one requirement, which is don't do that, by the way. Always rather avoid that. Oh yeah, before I move on, I'm gonna show you something. You can actually fly over this. The spike hitbox doesn't hit you, so that's a really safe way to go over that enemy. As Sonic, I guess. One of the requirements is to get those snacks on the 3 stumps. If you forget to get them, that's okay, because there is a good backup I'll show you. It's a pretty straightforward level. Every level is very straightforward. It's not open world like some games would be. It's very linear. You follow this path and so on. Here is a free Waddles Dee. If you hit this ladder or just go around here, you get a free Waddles Dee. So that's a good one to get if you don't want to get those 3 stumps, because it will be easy to forget. Another easy one is in the next stage as well. I can explain that. But that's not in my route I'm using. And that's 3 snacks on the 3 stumps. That's why it's really easy. Any Waddles Dee that's on your path are definitely the best ones to collect. That switch opens a Waddles Dee too. If you want to, you can get it, but it's not required. We already have enough Waddles Dees for this world actually. To be fair, not yet, because you want to avoid dropping down here. And as I'm a speedrunner, this is how I go through the level, so I'm not afraid at all. Take this a little bit of shortcut here, saving a little bit of time. That's pretty much it for the level. Easy, right? But don't worry, every levels will get harder when you get to the next worlds and such. The more Waddles Dees world recovers, the harder it will be start routing those properly. Right now we have an extra Waddles Dee, but it's alright. It's good to have extra Waddles Dees, just in case you forget something in the next level. The way I have memorized this game's route is when I have my life split up, I have every split showing how many Waddles Dees I want in those worlds, those levels. So for example, 1-1, I would say it would say 4. Or 1-3, it would say 6 or 7. That's where I know that, okay, this is what I need to do. This is, I think, what it was. But moving on to the next level, before we have a boss fight coming up. There is a candy that gives you invincibility. We'll take that. I'll go to the mini-boss and try to show the movement that can make you to get there, so you can kill it right away. You don't have to add the sliding at all. You can even just do top jumping and attack with the fire like that. But this gives you invincibility. If you get to the mini boss, whatever its name was, the freezer thing, you can kill it instantly if you can touch it and use a flame on it. I usually go with sliding, just to as fast as I can get there. That's just the better. But let's see, can we get there with just the jumping and fire only? So you don't have to add sliding at all, making it a little bit easier for you. Even if it doesn't make it there, you still have to kill it in some way, and fire just happens to be the only ability you'll have at that point. You actually want to take the fastest path, so you don't lose your invincibility too soon. The free Waddles Dee will be that you take the right path, but like I explained, we really need to get here fast. So let's see. We definitely got it, so if you move like that I just did there, you'll definitely make it there and get him one-shotted. Don't take the ability. You want to avoid taking any abilities that overrides this. Another good ability actually is right now will be spikes. If you get spikes, that's also really good. With spikes you can jump and just keep spamming that mid-air. When it's mid-air, you actually move faster with it. If you touch multiple enemies, that also makes you go faster. But you need enemies for that. That's kind of the reason why fire is the best one right now for moving around. Later on there's gonna be tornado. I'll explain that in the next video how tornado is in this game. Is it how good, how useful? It's definitely useful, but it has its downsides. If you land, then you'll just use a flamethrower. It's actually better that you rotate the control stick as fast as you can in some situations like these. So it makes it go faster. And keep in mind that using the speed out, remember to use a minus. Much better than holding a button or so. Get rid of any ability. Now we have pretty much enough Waddles Dees to go to the first boss, Gorimondo. I used to do Gorimondo with fire, then I switched back to sword. Some runners have been doing it with bombs. I assume there's just a personal preference for that. It's not that big of a deal that... What do you use for it? After all, even if you use sword, fire, bomb, you'll get the fire ability back after this boss fight, because we'll be upgrading it. If you don't get enough Waddles Dees for challenging the boss, you'll have to go to one of the levels and get extra one, which is kind of the reason why you might want to have extras on your first runs, just to be sure you get enough, or if you're good at math and you have a good route in your mind, then definitely follow that and just make sure you have everything collected. If you notice you didn't get everything in a one level, then keep in mind about a couple of the extras in the next levels and such. I'll definitely explain all of the possible extra Waddles Dees you can collect. If you're at low on health, you can pick up this health here. It's really helpful. Like I said, you can go with fire, bomb, sword, but I'll go with sword. I've been using that in my runs. For some reason, in demo version, you can skip this cutscene, but in here you cannot, for some reason. With sword you want to fully charge it to deal the most damage, and if you jump it takes off, it stops the spinning. It stops the spinning animation. You'll see here when I fight it. That wasn't fully charged. We're gonna do something like that as a DPS. And like I explained earlier, some attacks will get rid of your ability to fire quickly. When he's on this spot that we have damaged him enough, he has a super armor, or whatever armor, and you cannot deal that much of a damage to him. When he jumps backwards, try to follow him. You deal some extra damage before he starts spinning around. And if you want to, you can stay close to him. It's not too necessary, but it might be better you stay away. And deal all the damage you can. And like I said, you don't need to have the ability after beating Gorimondo. You can speed it out and use it as damage at the end. We'll be upgrading fire after this level. And that's pretty much the first world. On the next bosses, you'll be getting blueprints. And I highly suggest you skip them all, because you won't be needing them. This is where we are going to end the video. In the next video, we will learn to speedrun World 2. Thanks for watching.